Now, the term hoodweeb appeared at the beginning of the year when a couple of gentlemen decided to harass content creator Chibi Reviews over his taste in anime. And the harassment culminated with his doxing, as well as finding out where his brother was buried, visiting the gravesite in real life, desecrating it, and then posting this on Twitter. Chibi Reviews replied with filing an FBI report. Now, as you can imagine, this ended up trending. It shocked a lot of people. Like, this level of behavior over anime was unprecedented, to say the least. And it ended with the FBI getting involved. Now, that was then. And again, the term hoodweeb became a thing. And I only heard about it from this particular case, because it ended up trending. But now I'm starting to see what people mean by this type of behavior, because recently, almost all criticism of anime comes from two sources. Number one, it seems to be transgender furries. Like, usually when someone complains about the anime on Twitter, you look at their profile and you notice that there's either a transgender flag or that the person is a member of the prestigious furry community. The other type of criticism that is coming, well, it's from individuals such as this.
If you own this, you need to be locked up. If you ever put something like this in your cart, you need to be locked up. If you see this and don't see a problem with it, you should probably seek some help. Now, I understand this has always been a thing in the anime community, but at some point we have to draw a line somewhere. Y'all tried to say I was the problem when I said people who buy the half-naked Freerin statue are weirdos. Because Freerin looks like a teenager. Y'all try to use the excuse that, oh, she's thousands of years old. No, she still looks like a teenager. They embark on their journey. Himmel is 16 and they look about the same age. Since she is literally hundreds of years old, I shut up about it. But Nezuko? Nezuko? Come on now, this is weird. I don't care what you say, you can keep your excuses. Anybody that sells these and anybody that buys these are masking their PDF file tendencies. On one side of the coin, you have the person whose idea this was and the person that created this and who brought this into fruition. And then on the other side of the coin, you have the people that spend their hard-earned money, some of these be hundreds of dollars, in order to have this in their home. And don't try to hit me with the, oh, that's Awakened Nezuko, she's older, she's not. No, it's weird, y'all know it is. I personally think this is one of those things in anime culture that needs to be purged. Let me know what you think in the comments, or don't.
Now, absolutely. I do agree. This needs to be purged, and you need to replace it with some good old traditional American hip-hop music. You know, some songs about gangbanging, drive-by shootings, fucking bitches, doing drugs, sticking it to the police. Like, that's some good old American traditional values. Not any of this nonsense. None of this, like, absolute filth, trash, disgusting garbage. Like, what type of person appreciates that? You know, what type of human being actually tries to draw and tries to find like various ways of shading and artistic talent in order to draw this vomit? Like, this is disgusting, you know? Like, people should invest more time in going on Twitter and calling this out. We just don't have enough people. The entire American society should be reinvested in going online and calling this nonsense out. And there needs to be like real accountability. I think like academia should dedicate a group of university professors in order to call this out. And then you need to have like vigilantes on Twitter constantly monitoring Japanese artists to see if they step out of line. Because this is how the Roman Empire fell. You know, with massive tits and thunderous thighs. Now, here's what I take from it. I think like this is a hyper exaggeration, right? Because when you're going after commercial things, like this is not even hentai. This is not even, you know, adult rated. You can buy this shit from Amazon. Like this is in the public, right? Because the overwhelming amount of society is basically saying, okay, this is cringe, but we're not thinking that it's appropriate to go to someone's grave and desecrate it because the person happens to be cringe. And if you're going to be like that, it's like, all right, well, we need to clean society of everything. Well, you need to have a ministry of censorship, like they did in Eastern Germany, in order to view what is appropriate and what isn't for the socialist mindset. I'm not kidding, they actually did that. Like, they had a couple of ladies between the ages of 40 and 50 constantly watching pornography in order to decide which pornography is acceptable. Right? The person is literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. This is not even hentai. This is mainstream commercial stuff. And the reason it's mainstream commercial stuff is that society at large is looking at it and they're saying, yeah, okay, it's cringe. But just because it's cringe, it doesn't justify doxing people and finding out where their grave is and then desecrating it. And you may say, well, yeah, but like this gentleman never encouraged that. No, but like you're suggesting that people who like this are pedophiles. Like, what do you think happens to them? Like if you're going to use like the worst language imaginable in order to describe, someone that watches like what, Freerun or buys like a lewd action figure, which again, it's cringe, sure. But I have seen Miss July posters that are worse. But even while I'm not an expert in PDF files and what they like, I have a feeling that massive tits the size of melons and thunderous thighs ain't it. And the interesting thing is the story, right? Now, from what I understand, the anime Demon Slayer is about a kid who lives in the mountains with his family, and then he is tasked by his mom to go at the base of the mountain to do some shopping, and when he returns, his entire family is butchered. It's being eaten alive by demons. And the only survivor is his sister, which is infected with the curse. So now she's a demon as well. And when she transforms, she looks like this. Now, the anime itself doesn't have anything sexual. It's not like Western stuff. It's not like Rick and Morty, where, every single episode is need to have like a sexual joke or a sexual connotation. There's no fucking in it like you have in American TV shows where people have sex all the fucking time for no reason whatsoever, like Spartacus or Game of Thrones, right? Now, there is fan service, like when she is fighting, you get to see some jiggle physics, or you get to see something like that. And from what I noticed, like her version when she's young and she's not powered up isn't getting lewd. There's no fan service there. And so, like, out of all the things to pick on, to choose this particular one, it's really interesting. Because in 2025, like, anime is a lot more tame than it used to be. Like, if you think anime is problematic now, you should watch the type of stuff that existed 15 years ago or 20 years ago. Like, right now, it's already censored, and it's becoming more and more sanitized to appeal to these types of individuals. And the reason that these individuals are doing this, and this is my take, it's not like they can't stand the fact that anime exists out there in the world, is that they need moral superiority, is that they need validation. And instead of like picking up a crayon and learning to draw and drawing something actually wholesome that would attract people more than it attracts anime, instead of like trying to create their own stories and trying to create their own art that would actually make people stop watching anime and move towards the indie industry that they would create, no, instead what they choose is to attack people. Because this is what social media does. It validates outrage culture. It encourages cancel mobs. And so it's fun to be part of the cancel mob. It feels like morally superior to dominate others. And the problem is, like, well, there's not that many fights to have, right? Like, you're not going to go against a corporation that has money or to go against an institution that has power. You're going to go against, like, some random schmucks that are on Twitter. And they're in their hobby, like, sharing various anime and shit. And so, like, that's the target. And as I mentioned before, like, most of these groups that are targeting fan service in anime seem to be ideologically oriented. Like, you have the furries and the people that are transgender. And I think, like, one of the reasons is that most of the anime was right-wing. And what I mean by this is that during the third wave feminism, when it was all about, oh, we need to eliminate anything sexual or heteronormative from Western entertainment, and the feminists were actually very successful with that, right? Like, they would say, oh, it's sexualizing, it's harmful for women, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, you see, like, all the TV shows and all the video games, like, go from Mass Effect with big titties or Morrigan Dragon Age into characters that look like men with masculine jawlines, broad shoulders, right? And so, like, a lot of the people that hated that, and they're like, look, like, art is about tits and violence. Like, this is how I grew up. I grew up with Xena Warrior Princess. I grew up with Buffy Vampire Slayer. I'm not going to start watching It's a Ma'am on Netflix. And so, like, people started watching anime. They joined these communities where they were promoting this type of aesthetic. And they were predominantly right-wing. Like, extremely right-wing. This is where the coin anime Nazi started. And so, like, the people that are against that are the people that also were at odds with the ideology, like leftists. And this is why I think, like, you get to see constantly when someone complains about anime that they're part of these two groups. Not exclusively, obviously, like, there are exceptions, but 9 out of 10 times you get to see individuals like this. And as you can see, like, they're very popular, right? Like, almost 500,000 views. And in my opinion, it's absolutely ridiculous. But it's the trend, right? So, like, give it 5 more years, people are going to move to something else. I do think, like, anime is going to become hyper sanitized to the point where it's going to look like DC Comics and Marvel. And so people are just going to have to move to the Chinese stuff. Like, the Chinese already started releasing anime, which is incredibly popular right now. And Japan is going to focus on pleasing Crunchyroll and pleasing this type of community. Anyway, right, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.